How do you balance advancing your career in medicine with starting or raising a family and all the responsibilities that come with it? Welcome to the Defiant Career, the career strategy for women in medicine podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Qaali Hussein. After 15 years of becoming a trauma surgeon, raising 6 children, and following every career role I was given, I nearly walked away from medicine in my first year as an attending. On this show, we talk about how women physicians can advance their careers and navigate hostile workplace cultures without burning themselves out in the process. The question I open with is the most frequent question I get, whether it's at speaking events, workshops, through DMs, or in my community. The traditional career advice we get as women physicians is to be super women, to do it all, to have the career and to have the family. At work, we're told to work twice as hard so that we could be recognized and we can get the flexibility that we need, and to multitask. And if we don't want to do both, or if we can't do both, the subtle advice is to put your career first. Delay starting a family. This is why egg freezing has become a very popular workplace incentive. So why does being a superwoman who can do it all fail women in medicine? And why does being career focused hurt women in medicine in the long run? Because these two pieces of advice completely ignore the underlying cause of the problem we have as women in medicine. Why is it that women are entering medicine at higher rates but are not advancing at the same rate? Why are women burning out more frequently than their male colleagues? The reality is that the culture of medicine is not designed for women. Even in a field that knows the importance of the biological clock and the consequences of advanced maternal age, medicine remains behind in allowing women to prioritize their families. I was the first intern to get pregnant in my residency. The last person to attempt it before me was a third-year resident, and she never came back from maternity leave. When I announced my pregnancy to my boss, I was told, quote, "It's never been done and it will never be done," end quote. There was no maternity leave policy because they never needed one. No one has ever gotten pregnant and actually returned to finish their surgical training. And when I returned, I was told to quit on an almost weekly basis. And as I was told, it's because I was wasting my time and I wouldn't be a productive surgeon. I was told that I was taking up the spot of someone who could be a more productive surgeon. When I finished my training and became a board-certified surgeon, I had my resume thrown across the table in an interview just because I asked about schedule flexibility. I lost job offers the moment recruiters and interviewers found out I had 6 kids. And on top of all of this, I was carrying so much mom guilt that I almost walked away from a career I'd spent 15 years building. When I look back on all of this, I realized that nothing had prepared me for this reality. While I was told that it would be difficult, nothing ever prepared me for this level of hostility. So the advice to just be a superwoman, multitask, and manage your time better completely ignores this reality. It assumes that you're on a level playing field. It ignores the hostility you'll face when you choose to prioritize your family and the consequences that come with it. So what happens when women pursue medicine, unaware of the hostility towards their family planning goals, and they're told to just do it all and be a superwoman? They're chronically exhausted and burned out. Their careers take a hit because they're too drained to go for a promotion, submit proposals, speak at conferences, or ask for a raise. They go part-time, and some even consider leaving altogether. That's exactly where I was about 10 years ago. After doing everything I was told and still hitting a wall, I contemplated walking away. And for a long time, I had this nagging feeling that made me feel a bit uneasy. I honestly felt that everyone was right. I bit off more than I could chew. Of course, it was impossible to balance a demanding career like trauma with raising not 1, but 6 children. Who did I think I was? But then this thought didn't sit well with me either. I did do the two together throughout my training. As hard as it was, I did complete a grueling surgical training while being pregnant 5 times, but I had to fight for it. Instead of focusing on my training and my family, I had all these fights I had to have just to be able to do my job. And that's when it actually occurred to me that all the advice we're given is aimed at us improving how we navigate a broken system. We're told to bend over backwards and to fit into these systems if we want to make it. Nothing and no one ever addresses the flaws in the system itself. We're given all kinds of coping mechanisms to deal with a system that actively ignores our biological clocks and punishes us when we choose to prioritize it. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to stop coping with a broken system and we're going to start strategizing. And the first step is for you to let yourself off the hook. You're not struggling to balance your family and your career because you're incapable or you're bad at managing your time. The culture of medicine was not designed for you, and its hostility towards your family planning is why it's so difficult. You've been taught to work twice as hard and prove yourself so that the powers that be can recognize you and grant you flexibility. What you need to do instead is to stop waiting for the culture to change and to equip yourself with strategies to advance your career without sacrificing your family and without burning yourself out in the process. And here's where you can start. This is the exact framework I used to advance my career as a double board certified trauma surgeon, work half the month, and spend the other half at my kids' basketball games and their speech and debate competitions. It's the Defiant Career Strategy, and it's also what I use to help my clients advance their careers without sacrificing their health, their family, or their values. This is not about endurance or perseverance, and it's not about coping better. This is a strategy. Step number 1 is to understand how the system actually works. The idea that you're on a level playing field is a pure myth. There's unequal access and unequal opportunities, and we all know it. But the overwhelming advice to work hard and prove yourself is based on the assumption that you are on a level playing field. It assumes that your hard work is weighed the same as someone who knows the system and who has connections and a network. And that's why it fails. And that's why we're burning out at higher rates. And when I say learn how the system actually works, I'm not just talking about the workplace. The system also includes your home environment, your community, your support structure, and society. The fact that you're expected to compete at work as if you don't have a family and take care of your household as if you don't work is a system problem. So when you understand how the different systems you're navigating are impacting you, then the next step is to learn how to read the hidden curriculum. Unequal paths mean different rules. The same things you'll do as a woman in medicine are seen and treated differently than your male colleagues. If you're a Black woman or any other minoritized group, your words and actions will be seen and interpreted completely differently. There are multiple rules that most of us follow but are completely unaware of. That's why it's called the hidden curriculum. Once you learn to look below the surface and see the real rules that govern the workplace, your home, your community, and society as a whole, you'll have a much better understanding of why workplace culture and society make it impossible to balance family and career as a woman in medicine. Once you learn to read this hidden curriculum, you'll be ready for the next and final step, which is to stop coping and start strategizing. Instead of being upset at the inequality and the unfairness, you'll see why you're being held to a completely different standard. You'll be able to verbalize the silent rules that are sabotaging you, and you'll be able to advocate for yourself more effectively. When you do that, you can negotiate everything, including your schedule and how you structure your career around your life and your family, and not the other way around. So, to go back to our opening question, how do you balance advancing your career in medicine with starting or raising a family and all the responsibilities that come with that? 1, you stop following traditional career advice that assumes you're navigating a fair workplace that respects your family planning. And 2, you stop waiting for the culture of medicine to change and you equip yourself with the tools to achieve the life and career goals you want. If you're stuck in your career and don't know where to start, take the career diagnostic linked in the show notes so you can begin with clarity on what's holding you back. If you're a woman in medicine and you already know you want to take the next step in strategizing for your career advancement, you can book a strategy call with me. You can find the link in the show notes as well. I hope this episode resonated with you. I'd love to hear your feedback and any questions you'd like covered in future episodes. And please share this episode with other women in medicine who need to hear this message. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next episode.